So just recently, the Philadelphia 76ers' recent first-round pick, Jahlil Okafor, found himself throwing some hands after a tough loss in Boston. And I think this is interesting because Sam Hinkie, basically what he's done is he's made the Sixers as bad as they possibly can be so they can get a high draft pick and draft a guy who can become a star. That's his intention. That's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to keep building towards the future, acquiring draft picks, and then eventually they're going to draft that one guy who's going to lead them to titles, and it's all going to be fantastic. Do I see the rationale in that? I mean, yes, in a way. The San Antonio Spurs drafted Tim Duncan. The Mavericks drafted Dirk. The Pelicans drafted Anthony Davis. The Oklahoma City Thunder drafted Westbrook and Durant. I understand the rationale behind it. Would I necessarily go about it the same exact way? I mean, I like the idea of rebuilding. I don't know if I would trade away Michael Carter-Williams after a Rookie of the Year campaign. But then on the flip side, you could say, well, they were kind of right because he hasn't been that good since leaving Philadelphia. It's an interesting thing. And whether you agree or disagree with it, whatever. Is this process the right thing for your young players? Now, what does that mean? Well, if you surround young players with nothing but young players, how the hell are they going to grow properly? Who are they going to look towards to instill maturity, the way to act in an NBA environment? Because clearly Philadelphia doesn't have it. I mean, I don't think they have anybody on their roster over the age of like 30. You know? Because a head coach, I mean, Brett Brown, he might be a good coach, it's whatever, but it's like, a coach can only do so much. It really requires a player who's been in the league for a long time, a veteran, to show young guys how to act. I mean, look at the situation in Philadelphia. The Sixers don't want to acquire any veterans because it'll make them too good, and then they won't get the lowest draft pick in the draft, or the highest pick, I should say. But now there's nobody around there to preach wisdom and all that crap, so Jahlil Okafor goes out and fights some dudes in Boston. You think Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns are going to do that in Minnesota? When they have Tayshaun Prince and Kevin Garnett in that locker room? Of course not. Those guys are learning on the fly how to act in the NBA. On the court, off the court, with the media. When you're walking down the street and some dude says you suck, what do? Man, you put your head down, you keep going. You don't yell at the guy, I got money, and then punch the dude in the face, Jahlil Okafor. And of course, some of the blame goes to Jahlil Okafor, but at the same time, you gonna tell me some veteran presence in that locker room wouldn't have helped out that situation? As far as back to the whole, do you agree if the Sixers are going about this the right way? To be fair, it's a proven strategy. I mean, how else would the Wizards have John Wall and Bradley Beal? Cavaliers originally drafted LeBron James, drafted Kyrie Irving. And you can also say with the Sixers, they're basically a year behind schedule because Joel Embiid was out for a whole season. So as a result, it's like, well, if Embiid plays and it's as good as we think he's going to be, I mean, now we don't even know if he's going to be in the NBA because not only is he hurt, but he's apparently got a lot of effort questions. But say Embiid plays last season, he's great, he does exactly what Jahlil Okafor is doing right now, and then they use this previous draft to go with, I don't know, Emmanuel Mudiay. Now you're starting to say, okay, now there's really something here. You don't want to be in a situation of good enough, but not good enough. Because then you're the Memphis Grizzlies, and you're just in the worst position in the NBA. You're not bad enough to acquire some home run player who's going to lead you to a title. You're not good enough to win a championship. I can understand the rationale in saying, alright, let's go all the way to the bottom and just build it up. But the problem with that is when you do that, you get situations like this with Jahlil Okafor, where, I mean, look, did Okafor mess up? Of course he messed up. But if there was some veteran presence in that locker room, there's a chance that don't happen because he has a mature voice in his ear. So anyway, that's it. That's going to be it. I guess leave your opinion on the Sixers and their process and whatever the hell else I said in this video.